Leg 39 from Wetherby to Aintree, about 93 miles I think. I say I think. If I needed to check, I have the man with me today. The man frankly, without whom this really would not be happening. John Sparshatt, the former chairman of the Long Distance Walkers Association, and as far as I'm concerned, the fount of all knowledge when it comes to walking routes, what to wear on my feet. John was the one who came up with the immortal line, "There's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong equipment," which I very much took to heart. Is very much one of my phrases of the campaign, along with fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Thank you, Harriet Smiley. John's joined me today, which is great. I feel suddenly a very inferior walker in his company. I suspect he's going to walk me into a cocked hat. He did very humbly say yesterday he hoped he'd be able to keep up with me. I've never heard anything so ludicrous. That's not in doubt for a nanosecond, but it's great to have John. The weather is, as it's been all over the country really for the last 2 or 3 days, a bit gloomy, a bit murky, but crucially it's dry. I don't think I'm going to get away with that for the next 4 days, but the weather will do what the weather will do. And thanks to John's very firm advice, I have the right equipment, so I will be fine. Anyway, for the time being, walk on. Just before 4:30 on day one of the walk from Wetherby to Aintree. John and I have finished the day, 19.7 miles, and we finished actually at a very famous spot, which those of you who are fans of the soaps may recognise as the original pub in Emmerdale, the original Woolpack. It's been great to have John along, the master of the route. Had another lovely walk today, thanks to me saying to John, please can you trim a little bit off this route so I can get there on time. We had perhaps a little bit more road walking than certainly John intended me to have. But we've had a fantastic day. We haven't drawn breath. John, needless to say, was in front for most of the way, as you'd expect with a man of his walking pedigree. But it's been an absolute treat having him along. Great to meet him and be able to thank him personally for all the amazing work he's done for us in terms of route planning, and I hope we'll see him again on walking the courses. Day one done. Leg 39, day two, about a mile in. Started in the village of Esholt, just outside the Woolpack pub where we finished last night. Behind me you'll see the River Aire, which I'm going to walk along for a little bit this morning. Aire as in Airedale, as in Wharf, the River Wharf yesterday, as in Wharfdale. I'm going to try and do about 23 miles today is the plan, to keep me well and truly on track. On my own today, going to start listening to a book actually of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, which so many people have said, have you read? And I haven't, and I've now got it on Audible, so we're going to listen to that during the day today. Weather-wise, very similar to yesterday actually, murky, grey, gloomy, but not cold, and crucially dry, and I think that's the way it's going to remain. The forecast is looking as if I'm going to get lucky again with rain further north and rain further south. But I appear to be in a nice little dry bit in the middle. Long may it remain that way. Walk on. No sooner do I leave the banks of the River Aire this morning than I find myself on the banks of the Leeds to Liverpool Canal, which is great. I haven't been on a canal for a little while. I don't think it's Falkirk actually. I don't think I'm going to be on this the whole way to Liverpool, despite the name. But I imagine I'll be sort of jumping on and off it from time to time. No sign of any barges as yet. I think it's rather more of an industrial canal up this end, or used to be. As you can see, the trees look absolutely gorgeous. It's such a shame the sun's not shining because the colours would be simply magnificent. Anyway, it's great to be back on the canal. Love being on the canal. Walk on. Now properly up on the Pennines at about 1,300 feet. Walking along the side of this valley, which has got, as you can see, the most amazing ribbon of cloud that sort of dropped into the valley and runs for probably the best part of a mile or so, and then it appears slightly out of view of where I'm going. It looks like I'm disappearing into complete cloud. We shall see. Thank God the sat-nav's working. Walk on. I'm back on the banks of the canal to end the day, walking from Hebden Bridge to Todmorden, and just look at these beech trees. I mean, the colours, even on a really gloomy, cloudy, foggy day, the colours are just unbelievable. Absolutely Stunning. Really, really wonderful. A great end to a cracking day. Wetherby to Aintree, day 3. Major feature of the day, pretty clear from the garb being worn. It's wet, it's properly wet, and it's going to get even wetter. Back to Todmorden by the Rochdale Canal, which is very pleasant indeed. We like being here. Got head to toe wet weather gear on, and today is just going to be a head down and grind sort of day. The objective will be, I think, to do around about 23 miles or so. Around about Horwich I think I'll finish tonight. But it's going to be a bit of a survival battle today. Walk on. Well, as you can see, the weather, whilst it's not dry, it's sort of drizzling, mizzly. I think because I'm up in the clouds, it probably can't rain up here. It's pretty foggy, it's pretty barren, it's pretty remote. You can see visibility is not all that. It's me and a few sheep really. Really quite glad to be back on what you might describe as terra firma, the flagstones of the Pennine Bridleway. Had quite a tricky morning actually. The footpath was closed round, well, it should have been through Britannia quarries, but I think due to a landslide it has gone all a bit pear-shaped there. The notice saying the footpath was closed suggested no alternative route, which gave me no alternative but to try to follow the path insofar as I could and work my way around, which meant taking a very, very long and very tricky, awkward walk across horrendous terrain across Brandwood Moor. But thank God we managed to get round. Panic not, I would never put myself in any danger, never went anywhere near the face of the quarry. Oh God, I'm about to get in a rather large puddle. But it did mean it's been a rather big detour. But there we go, as I say, I'm now back, as you can see, on lovely Pennine Bridleway, easy to walk, and we'll soon be making up time. Walk on. Well, I've got away with it for much of the day. I only had intermittent rain, but now it's arrived with a vengeance. I'm in the middle of Holcombe Moor, which, as you can probably see in the background, is a pretty bleak, wet place. Thank God I've got my sat nav, because I really wouldn't have a clue otherwise which direction was which. Walk on and try to stay dry. The end of the day, 22.9 miles done, and it's absolutely bucketing again. Thought we were done for the day on the rain. Hey! A little spray there off the road. I have to wait for Minty for a little bit. But the really, really, really good news is that I'm just coming up to a pub called the Wilton Arms. And the Wilton Arms, if they will cope with a rather bedraggled, wet, old walker, smelling like a wet dog probably, I'm going to have a pint of Guinness. No more walking till tomorrow. Aintree, Wetherby to Aintree, day 4. Resumed at the Walton Arms, or just up the road from the Walton Arms. Cloudy day, dry. I've got Keith back with me. We've already been moaning about QPR's fortunes this season, but we won't worry too much about that today. Going to try and do about 22 miles or so, 22, 23 miles to leave sort of 5 or 6 for tomorrow morning. Just had the fright to end all frights. We were walking just up the side of this wall over here, and as I'm walking up, suddenly this dog in the background hurls himself onto the top of the wall about 18 inches from my right ear hole and starts barking. I jumped about 4 feet, about 4 feet. Anyway, that's woken me up, even if nothing else had. Walk in the afternoon, we're about 21 miles in, and would you bloody believe it, after the best part of 4 days walking, the best part of 90 miles, the sun has come out. I mean, our cup runneth over. We're walking currently through a rather deep grass field, and which is a slight detour because I think we can save ourselves a bit of distance. The downside is, whereas poor old Keith, whose shoes are not terribly waterproof, has had wet feet since about 9 o'clock this morning, my feet have been dry until now. But it's a small price to pay. It's cut half a mile off our walk. We're nearly done. Another 3/4 of an hour or so. Another couple of miles. Walk on. So on the way to the start, about 3 minutes away, and as you can see, it's a gorgeous Merseyside morning. Walk on, swim on, don't drown. Got about 7 miles left into Aintree. The rain should be clear by sort of 11, certainly by 12, when the wonderful Alicia Lowes will give the world premiere performance of her version of You'll Never Walk Alone, which is simultaneously released on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere else, which is really exciting. There's a decent card of racing. I've got Keith out again this morning, who is covered up against the elements very wisely. And we're just going to crack on and hopefully not drown, hopefully not get too wet, and have what I hope will be a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon at Aintree. Walk on! So this is it, almost 100 miles finished, and would you believe the sun has come out? As we arrive at Aintree, the sun has got his hat on. We got to the canal turn down the bottom end just as the rain started to stop, and we heard Alicia doing her sound check. These fantastic, beautiful strains of You'll Never Walk Alone over the tannoy all the way down to the canal turn. We've made it. Leg 39 from Wetherby to Aintree, complete in the dry. It was sunny when we set out on a lap of the national fences. It's cloudy when we got back, but it's dry. We're now off to the winners' enclosure to watch Alicia and listen to Alicia with the world premiere of our version of You'll Never Walk Alone. Walk on!